race is on. Let's see who wins the prize this morning. A very good morning to you, my dear friends. Today happens to be, somebody's up already, I'm not even going to look at. Today happens to be the 14th day of October 2019. You know, you have a holiday coming up next Friday, eh? Yeah? Looking forward to that yet? Talk about that sometime during the week. Yes, thank you very much for joining us for today's edition of Gudday Grenada. I can't resist the temptation anymore. Let me take a peek. Yeah, she's back. She's back. Hazel Ferguson is first. Charmaine DeLille is saying good morning and sending God's blessings. And Anthea has to settle for third this morning. So nice to see you, three ladies out there. And then Rachel John is number 4 this morning. Wow, the ladies are fast on the trigger this morning. Good to see all of you. Your friends will be joining you momentarily. Momentarily, yes. Now, let's take a look at the rundown, see what we're going to get into over the next 59 minutes or so. Folks, we're calling on you for help. Yeah. And when I say we, I mean the Royal Grenada Police Force, and myself, yeah. A lot of people are asking for help. The cops need your help in apprehending a couple of culprits who were very naughty last week in Carriacou. You're going to find out what that's about in just a wee bit, so hang in there. Now, for those of you who were with us yesterday, you may remember that we spent a lot of time looking at this controversial breakwater project in Carriacou. And I don't know what to say about that. But we're going to take one final look. For those of you who didn't see yesterday's program and perhaps have never seen the actual breakwater, we're just going to show that to you this morning. A very short video of what it looks like from the air. We do have the national report for you as well. And remember last Monday, we began a new series called Fiscal Alert with a Grenadian economist who used to be with the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Laurel Bain, and her 2 sisters, Gemma Bain-Thomas and Janice Bain. Well, that the first in that series was aired last week, and they are going to be back this morning. As far as I can recall, you guys did welcome last week's edition, and let's hope that you'll do the same this week. Okay? So, there you have it. That's the rundown for this Monday morning. And it's kind of rainy out there, eh? Kind of rainy. More overcast than rain. It's not coming down, but it's very overcast this morning. Now, let's see who else is there. You'll find out in a minute why I'm smiling. Anthony DeRiggs is saying good morning to you folks. So is Oswin Lewis, Kathleen Thomas, the Right Honorable Joe Prince Hunt is with us this morning. Kipling Francis says, God's blessings to everybody. Benedict Cador, marvelous Monday morning. Claude Putna is sending God's blessings as well. And Anthony DeRiggs is asking that you please share the stream. Fitzroy Adams is checking in. Jeannie Pasco, good to see you. And Mr. Pele Darbo, I guess there's no cricket, so he's showing it. Pele, what did you think about the outcome of the CPL, huh? Whew. Damn, I never got to watch it. I was hoping to watch the game, and somebody popped in just as it was about to begin. And that was it. The person left about 9 o'clock that night, so sorry, I missed it. And by the way, happy Thanksgiving to those of you in the United States and Canada. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Eat a lot of turkey, gobble, 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 gobble. Let's see here. Anthony says, George, more heavy rain by Friday. Yeah, thank you very much, Anthony, for sending me that heads up. Just a few minutes ago, I was taking a look. there's some stuff out there in the Atlantic, and they're saying it's going to affect the area north of Trinidad. Well, guess who is north of Trinidad? We. So we'll keep an eye on that and keep you posted during the course of the week. Arthur Lane Guines saying good morning, and Roger Mitchell is wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and Kennedy Phillip, hello Mr. Phillip. Thank you all for joining us. Now, let me, I got some pictures I want to show you guys. The police are seeking the assistance of the general public, that's moi and toi, right? In identifying the following two persons who are suspects in the October 11th armed robbery at the GUT Credit Union office in Carriacou. Now let's start by taking a look at these pictures. There is the first one, all right? Anyone who has any information whatsoever is asked to contact police emergency at 911. Don't want to do that? Okay. Then call, hold on a sec here. Yeah. There's another one. Yeah. Call the police hotline at 444-1958. There you go, another picture there. Got two more to show to you. You can also call the Carriacou Police Station at 440-7482 or 7840. That's 440-7482 or 440-7840. Now, you may also call the Criminal Investigations Department, that's the CID here in Grenada, at 440-3921. Or I'll tell you what, if you don't want to go through all of those numbers, just call the nearest police station, all right? And here's a little footnote. They say, let me run these by you again real quickly. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. All right. Now, the footnote I was telling you about, the police are saying these suspects are considered armed and dangerous and should not be approached. Okay? I hope that we made that very clear. While your help is needed, please don't go getting yourself into hot water. All right? Okay, now, back to the box here for just a minute. Oi. Margaret is correcting me here. Margaret, isn't today a holiday for you guys? Margaret says Thanksgiving is in November. It's Thanksgiving in Canada because I was in touch with my friend there just about half an hour ago. Okay, so no Thanksgiving, and then how come our friend went fishing? He told me you guys have a long weekend up there, huh? Okay, hold on. Somebody's probably going to clear that up for me. Let's see, Charmaine DeLille says Thanksgiving in America is in November. Okay, sorry, Margaret. Sorry, Charmaine. Ryan Jabon says, hope all is well, thank God. Kipling Francis says, Columbo's Day. Columbo or Columbus? It's Columbus Day in the, okay. Ah, that's the holiday you guys have today, Columbus Day. All right, so no gobble, gobble, gobble for you guys in the United States. You don't have to wait until November. Anthea Rallo says, just Canada, we have Columbus Day holiday. Okay, got you now. Thank you guys. See, I could always count on you. SD No Tap, Sean is saying good morning to all. And Ryan is saying, re that robbery in Carriacou. He said, you know, people could have been hurt. Okay. Kathleen Thomas says, it's Thanksgiving in Canada. Okay, guys, I got you. Terribly sorry. I'm terribly sorry. I messed up there. Always first to admit my wrongs, okay? Terribly sorry. Andrea St. B. Mitch is saying, Columbus Day. Yes, I got it. Okay, thanks. Millicent's husband saying, Columbus holiday today. Anthony DeRake says, the quickest method to get these guys is to do like the old American West and post a reward. Okay, yeah. Riding horses to Anthony. Charmaine DeLille says it's Columbus Day. Okay. All right. Now, I mentioned that yesterday oh my goodness, that video seems to have disappeared. Has it? Yeah, it seems to have disappeared. So we're not going to show you the footage, but it's on there. It's on the GRENADABROADCAST.com website. You can go check it out. And I just want to, just before we end this introductory segment, I just want to show you guys how we got that aerial footage yesterday. Friend of mine by the name of Russ Fielden. Russ is a former president of the Grenada Hotel and Tourism Association, GHTA, and he has a drone. And he also has a pilot who works at the hotel, somebody who flies these drones. His name is Ati Daniel. And we went up to the place and shot some footage. Now, just as we were through shooting the aerial footage, as the drone was coming back in, I thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to show my viewers on social media what that drone looks like. And so here's some footage, just a few seconds, of the return of that drone. For those of you who have not seen it, I'm sure you've heard a lot about drones nowadays, but if you've never seen footage of these drones, here's that one as it returns to base. There we go, there we go. Down, down, down she comes. Down, down, down she comes. Nice little bird, eh? And it's doing that all by its own. Hey, it went around, shot the footage, and then came back. We didn't have to tell it where to land. It chose, that's exactly where it took off from, and returned to base safely. So there you have it. That's our drone action. Pilgrims, quick break here, and then we're gonna get back with the National Report.
Because your vehicle is a necessity, being roadworthy is critical. Hubbard's Motor Department introduces its new tire and battery sales and service outlet located at Building Supplies Compound in Grand Anse, close to the Sugar Mill Roundabout. Available are a wide range of competitively priced tires, maintenance-free batteries, oils and lubricants. Keeping in mind your busy schedule, this outlet is equipped to provide you with fast and reliable service. Simply drive in and you'll be delighted with your service experience. For more information, contact 440-2087. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Quad Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank, and there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home. Hey, what? I just came from the land and this sign here caught my eye. What's that sign about?
Someone must have asked Grenlec to move a pole. But you know, there's no space reserved on the side of the road for planting poles. So Grenlec has to get permission from landowners, and that can take a lot of time.
Oh. Grenlec asked me to help them contact my neighbor Ben about planting a pole on his land. But Ben passed away. His children own the land, but they all live abroad.
That's why Grenlec needs customers to inform them in writing at least 3 months in advance.
3 months? All that?
It seems like a lot, but think about the time it will take for Grenlec to find and get permission from all of Ben's children. And sometimes moving one pole requires you to move the pole before, the one after, plus the wires that support them on the ground. That means even more landowners to find and get permission from. Then Grenlec needs to schedule their teams and notify customers about any power outages.
Well, I need the pole on the farm moved, so I'm going to write Grenlec a letter now.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
You don't know how many hurricanes will be coming this season, so you need to be prepared. At Hubbard's Hardware and Building Supply Departments and the Food Fair supermarkets, everything from canned foods, flashlights and batteries, to plywood, tarpaulin, lanterns, roof repair kits, water tanks, etc. are available. For over 90 years, we've helped you prepare for and recover from storms. Hubbard's Hardware, Food Fair supermarkets, and the Grenadian General Insurance, an integral part of your hurricane preparedness plan.
Alrighty, folks, it's now 17 minutes after 9 o'clock, and here comes your national report.
Another step taken as efforts continue to explore the use of e-books in schools. Details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Friday, October 11th, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. Government is moving ahead with the process of exploring the use of e-books in Grenadian classrooms. Representatives from the e-books company Fortuna Picks Incorporated and Ministry of Education officials met recently with both secondary school students and principals to demonstrate the e-books capabilities. We get more in this report from Annette Moore.
Deshant Agarwal, who is the co-founder and COO of Fortuna Picks Incorporated, along with project manager Sayajid Behera, introduced their company and gave background information about the use of their e-books in the Caribbean, particularly Antigua. The Ministry of Education, Human Resource Development and Religious Affairs is exploring the possibility of providing localized, culturally relevant content via these e-books to support curriculum implementation in schools.
The entire secondary school system in Antigua does not purchase a single print book, right? So no Oxford, no Pearson, no McGraw-Hill, no Nelson, none of those publishers are there. Similar thing has happened with British Virgin Islands. Similar thing is happening with St. Lucia, right? And there's a lot of merit. There's a lot of merit that the ministries are able to see as to why they should make this shift. Because if for the same buck that you spend today, you can get something much more substantial, which over a period of time could make you independent in the way you manage your own content, then I think it's a position nobody wants to give up with.
Students were able to have a hands-on experience with the e-books and utilize the various features themselves. Some of the features available included textbook access, note-taking and highlighting, teacher-student conferencing, test-taking and student progress tracking, use of educational videos, and a durable design to withstand consistent use. Representatives explained that the e-books have a low reliance on internet, which means a lack of internet connectivity would do little to affect the use of this technology. Students were excited about the capabilities of the e-books, interested in how its introduction would affect their work, and they indicated a desire to use more technology in the classroom for learning at the end of the session. Principals also were educated about the capabilities of the ebooks, including the various control methods available to ensure the appropriate use of the technology in the classroom. For example, they learned how the teacher can have the class view exactly what he or she was viewing, how the teacher could take control of all or a particular ebook to block access or share a video on a platform like YouTube while restricting access to other content on that platform. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Kevin Andel, made comments at the principal session.
We are in the 21st century, and a lot of Caribbean and even world countries are moving to digital platform to provide an opportunity for young people to be competitive in the ever-growing digital world. So with that in mind, the ministry decided, let us look at different modes of introducing digital resources into schools, or to even look at the existing platforms that are available. So we have this platform that we're exposing you to, because some of you have been exposed to the NGRM platform, the Moodle platform. CXC has a platform. There are other platforms. Google has a very good platform too, Google Classroom. So we are presenting this option to you so that you can evaluate, so that you can look at, query.
Principals showed great interest in providing feedback on the implementation of the technologies used in the classroom, including the use of material currently accessed in set text for CSEC on the ebook platform, the relevance of the open source educational material provided by Fortuna Picks Inc., and the possibility of incorporating electronic versions of currently used textbooks or teacher-created content. In addition to students and principals, teachers also previously had a similar opportunity to engage with Fortuna Picks Inc. during the month of September. As the ebook introductory process continues, more updates will be provided by the Ministry of Education, Human Resource Development and Religious Affairs as to further consultations and decisions taken. For the National Report, I'm Annette Moore.
Trade ministers from across the Commonwealth have made a commitment to resist all forms of protectionism and to work urgently together towards reforming the World Trade Organization, which sets the global rules for international trade. Following a meeting in London, ministers from the 53 Commonwealth member countries, which included Grenada's Minister for Trade, Industry, Cooperatives and CARICOM Affairs, the Honourable Oliver Joseph, declared their collective support for free trade in a transparent, inclusive, fair and open multilateral trading system with the WTO as its core institution. They agreed that any WTO reform should take into account the views of all members, underlining the special circumstances of the developing and the least developed countries, as well as small and vulnerable economies, including small island developing states. Ministers also endorsed an action plan designed to boost trade among their countries to at least $2 trillion by the year 2030 through the Commonwealth Connectivity Agenda. Intra-Commonwealth trade is projected to reach $700 billion by next year. Commonwealth Finance Ministers, meanwhile, will meet in Washington, D.C. next week, Thursday, October 17th, to discuss coordinated interventions to prevent future debt crises. Ministers will explore policy options and strategies by which debtor countries can work with creditors to prevent the recurrence of debt crises. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
Grenada, it's coming as the Ministry of Youth, Development, Sports, Culture and the Arts brings to you National Youth Week 2019, and it's one full week of activities, vibes and action as the nation turns their attention on the nation's youth. And it's from Saturday, October 19 till Saturday, November 2nd under the theme Embracing Opportunities, Soaring Higher. October 19th and 20th, National Community Service Weekend, island-wide. October 26th, Health Walk and Ministers Address. October 27th, Ecumenical Service and Peace Concerts. October 28th, Youth Vibe. October 29th, St. John's Youth Parliament. October 30th, Job Fair and Career Day. October 31st, Fun Nights. November 1st, Discovering Talents and Expo. And on November 2nd, it's National Youth Awards. So urging everyone to be a part of Youth Week 2019, October 19th to November 2nd.
Continuing the news, a call has been made to regional journalists who participated in a two-day workshop in Antigua to be more responsible in their reporting on natural hazards. Veteran Barbadian journalist Julius Gittins made the call during an interview with participants at the workshop, which focused on children in the face of disaster. It was organized by the Association of Caribbean Media Workers and UNICEF and was held at the Jolly Beach Hotel in Antigua. Gittins says a journalist's job is to ensure that the population is prepared to cope in the event of a hurricane, earthquake, flood, or other natural disasters.
To be informed, to be educated about the science that, whether it's climate change or volcanoes or earthquakes or whatever hazards there are in our particular countries. And we need to be prepared to communicate that calmly, dispassionately, soberly, intelligently to our audiences.
He says the media is a vital conduit of information and must be credible and reliable. Gittins weighed in on the importance of utilizing contextualized information from the local Met Office.
I understand the attraction of a weather channel or a CNN meteorologist with nice fancy graphics telling a story of a hurricane, but they're not going to be invested in the specificity of local information that your national weather outfit has. Now, the information is updated, refreshed every 6 hours. That information is fed globally, and there are intermediate advisories every 3 hours. Perhaps the media need to be doing a better job of repeating that information more frequently as the system nears, so people are very clear of where it is, not just regurgitating it, but understanding the path, likely impacts, what are the most deeply affected areas. This is information that is going to be provided by your disaster managers. Low-lying areas, areas where people really ought to take shelter in higher locations or elsewhere. That kind of information you will never get from the Weather Channel. That kind of specified information you will never get from any other entity.
Finally, livestock farmers and others in food handling are now better equipped to practice food safety measures following a farmers' outreach symposium hosted by the St. George's University. Details in this report by Karima Lewis, the Public Relations Officer in the Ministry of Agriculture.
From the farm to the table, food must be safe. That was the main message at the 16th annual one-day outreach symposium hosted by the St. George's University on Wednesday. It brought together farmers and other stakeholders to help them gain a better understanding of the safety measures that must be employed for consumer safety. It was guided by the theme, Best Farm Practices for Food Safety. Topics embraced included basic economics of farming and record keeping, antimicrobial resistance and its effects on farmers, organic farming and composting, benefits and pitfalls of bee farming in Grenada, and farm management practices for food safety. Minister of Agriculture and Lands, Honorable Laurel Bain, says while stakeholders in the agri-food sector are already implementing food safety measures, the input from St. George's University will only serve to ensure that they get better at what they do.
Quite apart from the issue related to trade, adherence to good food safety practices will ensure that the well-being of all our consuming public in Grenada will be guaranteed. It is my sincerest hope, colleagues, that the SGU will work very closely with the Ministry of Agriculture in assisting our farmers and indeed some of our technicians in areas related to food safety, as this is a work in progress.
With foodborne illnesses being a stark reality, Dean at the School of Veterinary Medicine, Neil Olson, explains that it is important that proper measures are implemented when handling and producing foods.
In order to protect our populations, we need to understand our responsibility in the entire process of food production and supply, from the time that meat, milk, and agricultural products are produced, packed, handled, and stored as safely as possible, in order to minimize risk of a number of things, including microbial contamination of food. Additionally, we need to understand that the chemicals and drugs, including antibiotics, that we use in farming have significant impact on our health and on our environment. In the current era of antimicrobial resistance and chemicals in our food supplies, we need to ask ourselves, how much do we contribute to this problem, and thus understand how these events affect our collective health.
Dr. Guido Marcel, one of the presenters at the session, explains the effects antimicrobial resistance has on farmers.
What is happening in the world as farmers use more and more antimicrobials, things like antibiotics, in the production of their produce, particularly in livestock farming, like rearing chickens and things like that. What we are finding on the farms and in the animals is some of these antibiotics are causing the microorganisms to become resistant. And as they become resistant, they pose a problem because now you don't have antibiotics to treat them. And that could get into the food chain. And so it could also move from animal to us, to the people who feed. And that's where the problem lies.
Jerome Thomas, who is involved in the apiculture industry, explains how he hopes to benefit from the session.
As a farmer involved in packaging the honey products, honey, pollen, and perhaps in the near future, the propolis. I'm very interested in what the market requires in terms of safety standards, and that is basically what I will be. I'm interested in.
Representative of Grenada Agriculture Company, Ms. Penny, explains why she attended the symposium.
I hope to gain as much whatever they're here to teach us, so I could go back and, as I said, to educate them on how to handle things up there. Although we have a wide knowledge of how to do things, but still every day it's something new, so that's the reason why I'm here.
For the Ministry of Agriculture, I am Karima Lewis.
And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
Alrighty, folks, there you have it. That was Friday's edition of the National Report from the Government Information Service. A couple of comments here I want to share with you. First of all, Benedict Cador. Read that story they did with a journalist, on reporting. Benedict Cador says, will there be a forum for journalists on reporting political news and news in general? John says, read NADMA, a segment about NADMA in there. He says, they use the self-same information, yet takes so long that it happens before we are told. I hear you, John, I hear you. Fitzroy Adams says, some of our journalists in Grenada are just puppets of the NNP government. And John comes back here and says, agriculture, insecticides are killing the bees, and soon honeybees will not be around. Now, folks, a little while ago, I mentioned to you that I wanted to show you some aerial footage of this controversial breakwater out there in Sauteurs. And for some reason, couldn't find the video. Well, we got the video. I want you to take a look. Here we go. That's some of the footage we shot on Friday, early Friday afternoon. And there's the breakwater. We were out to sea at that part, the drone was out to sea at that particular time. And in the middle of your screen, you can see Sauteurs, right? Part of the town of Sauteurs. So apparently the breakwater is already protecting the actual town of St. Paul, Sauteurs. Now, what you're looking at there, that's about 1,500 feet of breakwater. It's pretty long stuff. And if you heard the program yesterday, there seems to have been a lot of blame being put on the breakwater for what is happening at the Mount Rodney Beach. Now, I'm not so sure. I don't think it's been proven. So I really don't think it's fair to blame the breakwater for what is happening at Mount Rodney. I mean, come on, folks. A lot of the beaches in Grenada are already disappearing. Look at Conference, look at Telescope, and there are more. So, you know, hold your horses until it's been proven that that's what's happening. By the way, look at that. They're going to put a boutique hotel on there, they say. Yeah? Don't know how they're going to do that. They'll probably have to widen it a heck of a lot, but that's the plan, to put a boutique hotel there. Probably turn that into some sort of attraction. Nice footage, eh? Beautiful little island we have here. Beautiful little island. Yes, sirree. Okay, so thank you, Lord. We were able to get that footage in for the folks out there. There you go. Okay, that's enough of that. Now, folks, I mentioned to you it's Monday morning, so we have got your Fiscal Alert coming your way. And I'm going to take one quick little break here, and then we'll come back with, I only see two of the ladies this morning. One seems to be missing in action, and we're going to get some sort of explanation in just a wee bit. But first, a little break.
In our part of the world, we need to be prepared for natural disasters like storms and hurricanes, even outside of the season. I'm sure you'll agree that keeping our loved ones, homes, and businesses safe is important. So, I came up with a few quick tips to help you stay safe. First, make a family disaster plan and ensure that everyone in your household is familiar and comfortable with it. Remember to add batteries and flashlights to your emergency kit. Now, for electrical safety. Familiarize yourself with your electrical panel, as it may be necessary to switch off the power during a storm or flood. Make sure you install a transfer or isolation switch to prevent your generator feeding electricity to Grenlec's line. If trees are too close to power lines, call Grenlec at 237 for advice. By following these easy steps, you will be well on your way to being hurricane ready. Don't be caught off guard by natural disasters. Prepare now. For more information, visit grenlec.com.
Alrighty, folks, take a look. There they are. The lady on the top left of your screen is Laurel Bain. Good morning, Laurel. How are you?
Good morning, George. I'm fine, and how are you?
So far, so good. Getting off a great weekend.
Excellent.
I only noticed two of the three of you this morning. There you are at the top, and down below I see Gemma. Where is Janice this morning?
Janice is joining us on Facebook this morning.
Oh, she's joining us.
So she's with us.
Oh, she is with us. Okay, I just don't see her on the screen. All right, yes. Gemma. Yes, last Monday you began your series on Fiscal Alert, trying to inform and educate us on fiscal matters. So take it away, my friend.
So again, good morning, George, and good day to all our listeners and viewers of Fiscal Alert. It is an educational program where we share knowledge and experience. As indicated, Gemma Bain-Thomas is with me, and Dr. Janice Bain has joined us on Facebook.
Good morning, good morning, listeners and viewers.
We will continue under the theme Economic Management with fiscal policy. Last week, we concluded that the objective of fiscal policy, like many other economic policy, is economic growth and development. However, fiscal policy has been evolving, and during the evolutionary periods, different roles and functions have been assigned to fiscal policy. And these are stabilization, allocation, distribution, and ultimately growth and development. Today, I want you to join with us as we focus on the stabilization component. And in stabilization, we have two sets or two issues. One, economic stabilization, and two, stabilization of the public finances, or referred to as fiscal sustainability. And we will focus on stabilization of the public finances, and in particular, fiscal sustainability. Fiscal sustainability requires that the government generate adequate revenue to finance total expenditure to avoid the accumulation of fiscal deficit and the rapid accumulation of debt. Countries have sought to operationalize fiscal sustainability by developing benchmarks. And the most common benchmark developed among countries is the debt to GDP ratio. I can give some examples. The member countries of the European Union have agreed to a debt to GDP ratio of 60%. In the West Africa Economic and Monetary Union, the countries have agreed to a debt to GDP ratio of 70%. In the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, there is a targeted debt to GDP ratio of 60%. And under Grenada's Fiscal Responsibility Act, there is a targeted debt to GDP ratio of 55%. Generally, in operationalizing fiscal sustainability, there are other indicators. Among these are the overall fiscal balance, the current account balance, and the primary balance. Some countries have also included additional variables, and these include variables such as the wage bill, tax revenue, and inflation. And these variables are all to operationalize fiscal sustainability to ensure that the fiscal performance is on a sustainable path. Fiscal sustainability is very important because fiscal imbalances may send signals to the economic agents in the production of goods and services. What we find that in periods of fiscal imbalances, the government resorts to various methods of closing the fiscal gap. For example, on the revenue side, there might be constant increases in taxes, some of which may be ad hoc. And besides increasing the burden of taxation, it sends conflicting signals to the economic agents and hence the production of goods and services. On the expenditure side, in cases of fiscal imbalances, arrears are accumulated to suppliers of goods and services, both domestically and externally, and on contributions to regional and international organizations, and on the public debt. In summary, during periods of fiscal imbalances, it is said that the government will tax anything that moves. And even if a fly moves, the government will tax it. On the expenditure side, during fiscal imbalances, officers are forced to dodge suppliers of goods and services and creditors as funds are not available for payments. An important component also is the financing. In terms of financing, during periods of fiscal imbalances, the government resorts to innovative ways of financing the deficit, some of which may not be beneficial to the citizens. So fiscal sustainability is critical. As we're on the topic of fiscal sustainability, I just want to refer to the wage bill and the current disparity in the proposal between the workers and the government.
So, Laurel, before you go on to the wage bill, is there any penalty for breach of the fiscal of the fiscal targets?
Thank you for this point, Gemma. Different countries have different arrangements. The most notable area with penalties for breaches of the target is the European Union, where they have an elaborate structure where there is a commission that examines the performance of the countries and recommend corrective actions. If corrective actions are not taken, there are penalties attached to this. So in the European Union, there are penalties and sanctions for breaching of the benchmarks. In the West Africa Economic and Monetary Union, there are sanctions, and the sanctions are generally related to the lack of access to credit from the regional institutions and from the central bank. In the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, there is not a law and there are no penalties attached. And from my review of the Fiscal Incentives Act, there appears to be no penalty assigned to breach of the fiscal rules. So I can go on to the issue of the sustainability and the disparity in the proposals between the workers and the government. This disparity suggests that there is not a close alignment between the objectives or the intended impact of the proposals on the wage bill and the workers. In going forward, it is necessary for a closer alignment that will allow for a rational view of the issues to be discussed. Generally, from my knowledge, during the negotiation process, there are a number of variables that are placed in the basket for negotiation, prominent of which is the intended increases in prices through inflation. However, there are other variables that could be included. And these variables normally include issues like productivity. Is there a welfare component? Is there a catch-up component? And are there intended policies in the future that will affect the wage bill or disposable income? An alignment of the objectives and likely impact of the wage negotiation would assist in determining what priorities are given to the variables. In addition, there is a constraint, the Fiscal Responsibility Act. And in the Act, there are targets for the wage bill, the primary balance, overall balance, and debt. It is necessary for the parties to use the fiscal frameworks or the methods they are using for forecasting to input their proposal in this framework to determine the likely impact on the Fiscal Responsibility Act. It is in this context that a more focused discussion could take place during the negotiation process. Fiscal sustainability is critical. It sends signal to the economic agents in the production of goods and services and in the gross domestic product and its growth. However, fiscal transparency is also critical. Fiscal transparency, which involves information on policies, procedures, decision-making processes, and the use of comprehensive data is also critical. So the two components must be taken together. In closing, I would like to emphasize that fiscal sustainability is important, but fiscal transparency is critical. Join us next week when we examine the issues on Fiscal Alert and we examine the issues of fiscal transparency. Knowledge is power. Experience is the greatest teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurel.
We noticed that Gemma's video is gone. Did you turn your video off, Gemma? Okay, Gemma seems...
There are some comments and actions between the government and the union. And it's a law, and so it's important that economic citizens participate in the consultation prior to the passage of laws. But as Laurel winds down, there is a question from Juliet, which says, in the case of Grenada, what policies, requirements are in place to force the government to behave responsibly? Also, John Bruno is saying that our government said the country has achieved fiscal sustainability, why are they finding it hard to give public servants an increase that matches the high cost of living? And John is also saying you cannot tax a country out of fiscal imbalance. That would show fiscal irresponsibility, surely. So as you wind down, you may comment on these or address them early next week.
I will comment, and Gemma, you'll give me them again. Juliet, what policies are there to force the government to
behave responsibly?
The Fiscal Responsibility Act is the mechanism for responsible fiscal management at the moment. And within the Act, there is no penalty. However, I note there is a committee that has been established to monitor the performance, and the committee is expected to make recommendations in areas of improvement. So I haven't seen within the Act any other, except that it is on the onus of the minister to abide by the Act and the committee to report on the Act. I'm not seeing any mechanism within the Act to force the government to manage within the Act. So this is for Juliet. The second one, Gemma.
Laura, hold on a sec. Laura, just before you go on, let me jump in here for a minute. When you talk about the committee, you're talking about the Fiscal Responsibility Oversight Committee, FROC?
Yes.
Okay, and you're saying that in the Act, you don't see anything there to force the government to behave responsibly?
No penalty, but except it is on the onus of the minister to operate responsibly.
It's on the onus. Okay, go ahead. Gemma, give her the second question. Go ahead, Gemma.
So the question is, John said you cannot tax a country out of fiscal imbalance. That would show fiscal irresponsibility, surely.
Right. You cannot tax the country out of fiscal imbalance. What happens is the economy eventually contracts because taxes are reduction in disposable income. However, fiscal balances have to be addressed. And in addressing fiscal balances, there are two main components of government operations: revenue and expenditure. And some alignment has to take place. The important thing is to try to get the economy to grow so that revenue is enhanced naturally. However, if you continue to tax, particularly tax during fiscal imbalances, the economy tends to contract. In some cases, it might be necessary to get some form of injection, particularly on your capital program, to ensure that there are activities in the economy that will allow the revenue to grow, while you try to improve operations through expenditure constraint and improvement in efficiency. Gemma, there was another comment
from another John, who said that seeing that our government said the country has achieved fiscal sustainability, why are they finding it hard to give public servants an increase that matches the high cost of living?
Okay. Now, from the records, there have been overall surpluses. So the government has been operating with overall surpluses. When we look at I cannot answer why, but I would say that in terms of fiscal policy, there are a number of goals. We have touched on stabilization, but there is also what we call the allocation role of the government, and it has to allocate resources. So in discussion with its citizens, there must be prioritization as to where you will allocate the resources. And as again, I mentioned, fiscal policy requires fiscal transparency. And fiscal transparency means that the citizens should be aware of the resources available, the prioritization in the utilization of resources. So there is a general consensus as to where fiscal policy is taking the economy. So in discussing the payments, it needs to be taken into consideration with the allocative role of the authorities in terms of allocating scarce resources and transparency in the allocation of these resources so that there is a bit of consensus as to where fiscal policy is taking the nation.
But Laurel, the government is also referring to the Fiscal Responsibility Act, and that act sets limits of the wage bill to GDP and so forth. And when you look, could you comment on like the levels of inflation, because that may have an influence in determining the proposal made to government?
Yes, as the Fiscal Responsibility Act set limits, yes, on the wage bill. And in terms of commenting on the rate of inflation, what we have observed maybe over the last 2 years, that the inflation rate has been, as measured by the Consumer Price Index, has been low, less than 1%. So the inflation rate has been relatively low. In terms of the future trend in prices, there are speculation but no definite figure. But in the past, it has been low. And as I indicated, inflation is one component of the basket, and it should be included with all the other elements, along with the prioritization of resources in determining the way forward. I will close now by saying, join us next week when we discuss fiscal sustainability issue.
Laurel?
Yes, George?
Laurel, yeah, I know that we're out of time, but very, 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 very quickly, there are a couple of questions here. Juliet Melville is asking, how was sustainability defined?
What's sustainability?
Defined.
Oh, sustainability is defined by most in terms of the not, I would say, the debt levels, maintaining debt levels that are able to be financed, overall fiscal deficit tolerable that will not accumulate, lead to the rapid accumulation of debt, incurring current account surpluses that will contribute to your capital program. So you have, over time, current account surpluses that will contribute to your capital program, overall fiscal deficits that are tolerable, and debt levels that are manageable that does not destroy your creditworthiness. And that should happen over time.
In the present environment, what are the surpluses being used for?
Generally, surpluses on the government accounts are used for, now the overall surpluses on your current account is generally used for your capital program. Overall surpluses, when you have overall surpluses, it is channeled into your financial system, it is your savings. So overall surplusing is your savings. Current account surplus is contributing to your capital program.
All right, the final question here.
In terms of your fiscal accounts.
A final question, I think. In the context of the wage bill, how can we increase the wage bill without slowing down development? And what strategy, without slowing down development, and what strategies would you recommend that we implement as to how the economy is right now?
In terms of the wage bill, without slowing down development, my recommendation is that the wage bill at least should reflect the cost of living. And there should be a consensus in terms of where we want to go with the wage bill. And I suggest that there should be ongoing dialogue between the unions and the government on what they would like to see in terms of the wage bill, with a focus on discussion on issues of prices, productivity, and workers' welfare. In other words, there should always be transparency in the discussion to get a closer alignment as to where we want the wage bill to go, taking into consideration that fiscal sustainability is important.
Good. Go ahead.
Yes. The second point is in terms of the strategy for the economy. And that is my opinion, that is the person is asking. The economy has been registering growth, economic growth, in recent times. However, my thinking is that growth must lead to development and transformation. So it is necessary, given the fiscal situation, to develop strategies to improve the productive capacity to ensure that there is sustainable growth. In terms of sustainable growth, it means investing in your people, which is your education and your health, and also transforming your basic sectors, particularly your tourism and your agriculture sector, to ensure that there is a sustainable path over time.
Thank you very much, Laurel. Thank you very much. And Gemma, and let Janice know that we missed seeing her face this morning.
She will be with us. Thank you very much, George, and thank you to all our listeners and viewers online. And join us next week on Fiscal Alert. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, viewers. Bye.
Have a great week, guys. All right, there they go, my dear friends, taking us now to 5 minutes after the hour. We'll take one quick little break here, and then we'll come on back and wrap it up. Don't go away, because I have a very important inspirational to share with you.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Can I have a chicken lunch, please? Large.
Real nice today.
Mm-mm. I don't want that.
But you just asked for a chicken lunch.
I don't have problem with the lunch. Afraid the container.
What is the problem with it?
These styrofoam containers, they don't good for the environment. They shorten with life.
What foolishness you telling me? So what you want me to use?
Put my food in this.
Where you get that?
At the food fair, where you could get all biodegradable food boxes and disposable food supplies like cups, plates, anything you could think about. Name it, it's there. And they don't harm the environment. Food fair, taking the lead in cleaning up and protecting the environment. Hey, like you take me advice, you get in your biodegradable food supplies.
Well, girl, I supporting who supporting the environment. That is why I shop in at food fair.
Food fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets. Products distributed by Hubbard's agency, Kirani James Boulevard.
Alrighty, folks, as we pull the curtain down on this Monday morning, haven't taken a look outside in the last few minutes, so I don't know whether it's raining or not, but certainly hope that you do have a brighter afternoon than we did this morning. Now, parting word, Matthew chapter 23, verses 8 to 15. And boy, this applies so much to what we see happening in our society today. Let me quote, "But you are not to be called rabbi, for you have one teacher, and you are all brothers. And do not call anyone on earth Father, for you have one Father, and he's in heaven. Nor are you to be called instructors, for you have one instructor, the Messiah. The greatest among you will be your servant. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You shut the door of the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. You yourselves do not enter, nor will you let those enter who are trying to. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You travel over land and sea to win a single convert, and when you have succeeded, you make them twice as much a child of hell as you are. Matthew 23, 8 to 15. Check it out yourselves, my dear friends. Okay, on that note, we're going to pull the curtain down. Thank you so much for joining us as we begin the brand new week. Man, we're going to have fun this week, aren't we? Yeah. See you tomorrow morning at 9 for the next edition of Good Day, Grenada.